I love manga. That should come as a shock to no one. And my favorite mangaka has got to be Aka Akatsuka, the mangaka behind Kaguya-sama Love is War and Oshi no Ko. I love Akatsuka for his art style and his very serious and grounded storytelling. But he hasn't just made those two manga. He also has worked on several other series. So, I thought it would be fun to take a look at all of Aka Akatsuka's manga and see if we can figure out what he does well and where he might struggle. The first series we're going to take a look at is the first manga that he wrote under the name Aka Akatsuka, and that is Sayonara. Hey, wait, I didn't salute! The video's not over! I literally just started it! Anyway, it's called Goodbye Piano Sonata, and it is actually an adaptation of a light novel. The original light novel is written by Hikaru Sugi with art by Ueda Ryo, and it was published in 2007 with 4 volumes and 1 side story volume. The story is about Naomi Hikawa, the son of a famous music critic. Naomi likes music, specifically Western rock, and he also likes to fix things. One day, he is in his favorite scrapyard looking for spare parts when he comes across a girl playing a piano. The song is mesmerizing to Naomi, but when the girl spots him, she calls him a pervert and yells at him. A boy running into a musically gifted girl and then getting called a pervert. Where have I heard that one before? The girl is Mafuyu Ebisawa, and after she yells at Naomi to stay away from her, we see that she is immediately transferred into his class. This part is so anime, it hurts. The basic plot from here is Naomi trying to get his special room back from Mafuyu while trying to get her to respect the guitar because Mafuyu, strangely enough, only plays piano music on the guitar. Since this is an adaptation of a light novel, Akatsuka didn't write the story or come up with the character designs, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the plot. It's literally just Your Lie in April at home anyway, but Akatsuka did draw the manga, which was published from February 2011 to July 2012 in Dengeki Manga, so we can get a pretty good idea of his style from it. I really love Akatsuka's art. His style has this roughness that I really enjoy. He can make characters look sinister in such a beautiful way. Look at how he draws Kagura from the Folk Music Research Club. She is just a normal high school girl, but she looks devilish. This is the backbone for the Okawa Koto from Love is War, which is one of the most iconic images from that series. He also has a great way of portraying music. I find music manga incomplete because you can't hear the music, but there is a panel where Mafuyu first plays the guitar for Naomi, and when she does, we get this beautiful 2-page spread. I can hear this panel. You know exactly how rocking and electrifying this chord is. It is shaking the very ground beneath their feet, and Naomi's face says it all. Akatsuka also has a mastery over shadows and the color black. All manga is in black and white, so because of this, the color black represents a good chunk of the average manga panel, but Akatsuka's panels are mostly black, with heavy shadows and dark backgrounds aplenty. This makes his work look really unique, but honestly, Sayonara Piano Sonata is not his best use of this. The best use is in his first original published manga. After Sayonara Piano Sonata ended, Akatsuka got a lot of offers to start working on a new original manga. Instant Bullet was written and drawn by Akatsuka, and it was published from July 2013 to August 2015 in Dengeki Mao, just like Sayonara Piano Sonata. Instant Bullet follows our protagonist Kuro Fukase, who hates the cruel world that he lives in. The only friends he had, the 2 girls that lived next to him, were killed in a fire. But don't worry, they're still around as hallucinations. That seems healthy. One Christmas Eve, Kuro is walking alone, thinking about how much he hates the world and how much his life sucks, blah blah blah, angst, until this little 2D bastard attacks a Christmas tree. Before Kuro can react, a girl wearing a cute hat jumps to action saying that she is going to be the hero. The girl is Seira Himeyura, and she is what is known as an instant bullet.
Roll credits.
She is the instant bullet of destruction, which allows her to summon any bomb from anywhere in the world.
Oh, these aren't homemade. They were made in a factory. A bomb factory. They're bombs.
After an altercation between Seira, Kuro, and the 2D bastard, it is revealed that Kuro is actually in control of it. Aww, look at how cute and two-dimensional it is when it isn't trying to destroy Christmas. Kuro ends up meeting a lot more allies along the adventure, and Seira ends up becoming a rival. One of the more interesting things about Instant Bullet is that there's not really a hero in the story. Sure, Kuro is the protagonist, but that doesn't make him a hero. And Seira, who goes on and on about being a hero, is the instant bullet of destruction. That doesn't exactly sound like the name of a hero to me. This is similar to how in Oshi no Ko, Aqua is the protagonist, but he's not exactly the most morally correct character around. And Kuro and Seira, being opposed to one another, has flavors of Kaguya and Shirogane from Love is War. Sure, they're not physically fighting, but they're still at odds with each other with their flirting. Instant Bullet has some fun characters with interesting backstories, and I think that's the strongest part of it. But the story is a little lacking. I get what Akatsuka's going for with these angsty characters using their powers to try and destroy the world, but there are a lot of moving parts early on in the story. There is the dynamic between Seira and Kuro. There are the two hallucinations that follow Kuro around. Then there are the ones that Kuro joins up with and also fights momentarily. There is a lot going on. And Akatsuka puts in a lot of exposition, so the whole thing feels very heavy. But there is one shining part in the whole story that makes it all seem worth it. There is a character called Yume Furusuna, who asks for Kuro's help in saving the world. Her power is twofold. She can see the future, and she can time travel. One stipulation of her power is that if she sees a future, it will be certain to happen. And she has foreseen a lot, notably falling in love with Kuro and her own death. Akatsuka spends multiple chapters away from the action to focus on a love story between these two that we know will end in tragedy. If you are familiar with Love is War, you know that Akatsuka is good at writing romances, but honestly, this is on another level. It is just a small part of the story, but it steals the show. Couple that with Akatsuka drawing out of his mind, and you have the main reason why I would recommend reading Instant Bullet. Instant Bullet is a hidden gem manga. There were a lot of really good story beats, but since it got canceled, the ending is a little clunky. You can tell that Akatsuka was being rushed and didn't get to end the series in the way that he wanted. But I still think that this series is worth checking out just for the art alone. Akatsuka hasn't drawn a manga since Love is War, and I forgot how good he is as an artist. But the art that's in Instant Bullet is very different to the art that's in Love is War. Love is War is a romance, so it is a lot of characters just standing there. This means that the manga can come off as flat sometimes. But in Instant Bullet, since there is a lot of action, a lot of the panels are very dynamic, and there are a ton of beautiful full pages. And Kuro's 2D bastard is Akatsuka's best use of black yet. Kuro can make his beast take whatever shape he wants, and Akatsuka has so much fun with this concept. Read this manga just for the art, if nothing else. You can tell that Akatsuka really cared about this series. He still talks about it to this day, and in an interview from 2020, he said that he hopes that the series will get an anime someday. And at the end of the manga, there is an afterword that both broke my heart and made me chuckle. Instant Bullet is something I've been working on since I was in high school. I always thought that if I became a manga artist, I wanted this to be my first original series. But still, I thought a rookie like me would be cancelled after 2 or 3 volumes, so just being able to get to 5 volumes like this makes me so thankful. Instant Bullet isn't dead yet. I hope you'll lend me your power one more time. And so, let's meet again someday in Instant Bullet, which doesn't have an afterword. The afterword shows that Akatsuka's confidence was shaken after the series got cancelled. You can tell that he really wanted this one to be successful, and I can't help but feel bad for him. However, looking at this from today's perspective, dude, come on. You're about to have 2 successful serializations that will become anime. You're gonna be fine. Calm down. While Instant Bullet was getting cancelled, Akatsuka started selling himself trying to get a new series, and he ended up landing at Shueisha. While there, he got with an editor, and they started brainstorming ideas of what kind of new series to write. They ended up settling on a romance because the magazine didn't have a romance at the time. Katsuka was a little apprehensive about this because he hadn't written a romance before. But remember, the best part of Instant Bullet was the small romance between Kuro and Yume. If Akatsuka could expand on that, he could have a hit on his hands. Kaguya-sama wants to make him confess the Geniuses' War of Hearts and Minds, damn that's a mouthful, I'm glad they changed it, was published in Shueisha's Miracle Jump magazine from May 2015 to January 2016 until it was moved to Weekly Young Jump from March 2016 all the way until it ended in November of 2022. Kaguya-sama Love is War follows our main characters Kaguya Shinomiya and Miyuki Shirogane. Kaguya is the daughter of a rich family, so she is very full of herself. She is also the vice president of the student council at Shueisha Academy. Kaguya is very beautiful and is respected and loved by the students and faculty alike. The other main character is Miyuki Shirogane, who is the student council president. He is number 1 in his grade academically and got into the academy because of his grades. Miyuki's family is poor, unlike the other students at Shueisha, who all come from rich families like Kaguya. So Miyuki keeps his grades the best so that he can prove that he is worthy of standing alongside the elite students. Miyuki is also very proud, just like Kaguya. The two acknowledge that the other is strong and accomplished, but not more than themselves, and they even claim that they wouldn't mind having the other as a partner, but they themselves wouldn't dare confess to someone. They couldn't swallow their pride and stoop to that level, oh no. But if the other confessed, they wouldn't mind going out together. Love is War is a romance about two tsundere who are trying to get the other to confess instead of confessing themselves. It's a really unique take on the genre, and despite the tsundere being around forever, there hasn't been a series like this before Love is War. In fact, the reason why Shirogane and Kaguya have similar personalities is because Akatsuka thought it would be easier to explain the characters that way if they were very similar. Now, while they do start out the same, their arcs are very different and develop in unique ways. The meat of Love is War is the battles between Kaguya and Shirogane, where they try to one-up each other and get the other to confess. The two characters are very smart, and it is fun to watch them overthink simple everyday interactions. Aka would look at things that happened in his day-to-day life, and he would build stories around them. And he even works in his own interests, like Apex, which Aka enjoys playing. Their special brand of flirting is the romance element of the series, but it is also the comedy element. Their plans are always over the top and ridiculous in their own right, but there are other comedy elements to the series. Chika Fujiwara, who everyone knows and loves because of her amazing dance moves, proves Murphy's Law by mucking up all of Kaguya and Shirogane's plans. Without Chika, the story would get stale. The plot would just revolve around the mains doing their big brain strats and one of them losing. It would be like watching a fight from JoJo's Battle Tendency, but instead of hormone, it's hormones. Adding Chika allows Akatsuka to implement more comedy elements into the series and give the battles between Shirogane and Kaguya a humorous ending. And there are other great characters as well. Ishigami is the avatar of everybody who reads this series. He's an otaku, plays video games, and is super depressed all the time. He is the straight man of the series, but also delivers humor with his relatability, meaning the fact that he says, "I want to die," every couple of chapters. But Ishigami actually has one of the best character development arcs in the whole series in the Sports Festival arc. It is very emotional, and because Ishigami is so relatable, his arc about finally making friends feels really fulfilling to read. Ishigami is definitely my favorite character in the series. There are a lot of other characters of varying importance, and I'm not going to bring them all up because I don't want to make this video just a Love is War video, and I still have to get through Oshinoko. So all I will say is that all of the characters are well written and fun in their own right. In fact, I have an entire shelf dedicated to Love is War, and half the characters in here are ones that I didn't bring up. That should be proof enough that all of the characters are well written. One of the interesting things about Love is War is that it was the last series that Akatsuka drew. A lot of the things I have already said about his art also apply here, but the art in Love is War is a lot different than any other series we have talked about. The art can be a little plain and is definitely not the draw of the series, but sometimes there is a panel that blows me away. Case in point, the part after Kaguya gives Shirogane his birthday present. Kaguya is very nervous and embarrassed because she is giving the boy she likes a birthday present. So after she gives it to him, she steps out into the hallway and cries while Hayasaka comforts her. I think the Love is War anime is one of the best anime adaptations I have seen, but this scene is done dirty in the anime. It just doesn't hit right at all. The heavy shadows aren't there, and Kaguya's expression isn't right at all. You can also see a very clear style change as Love is War goes on. The art at the beginning is still good, although a little rough, but the art towards the end looks awesome, and comparing the art at the end of Love is War to the end of Instant Bullet, you can clearly see how much better Akatsuka got. But speaking of comparing Instant Bullet to Love is War, you can see that Akatsuka has a bit of same face, which is normal for some artists. So it makes sense that Akatsuka would work with an artist for his next couple of series. Love is War is a fantastic series. I love it so much that my profile picture is Gomensky the cat. Although, I don't really enjoy the final arc with Kaguya's family, I still think Love is War is the best contemporary romance. And it even won the Shogakukan Manga Award, and the third season of the anime is the 12th most popular series on MAL, and even spent a brief stint at number 1. So, that must mean that this would be really hard to top. But I think Akatsuka might have just done that. Oshi no Ko is written by Aka Akasaka and drawn by Mango Yokoyo. It is published in Weekly Young Jump, just like Love is War, and it started serializing in April 2020 and is still ongoing to this day, but it does appear to be winding down. Oshi no Ko is about the entertainment industry in Japan. It focuses the most on the idol industry through the lens of the character Ai. Ai's arc focuses on the dual identities of idols, where they have their perfect outside appearances that are meant to be appealing to their fans, and then their real personalities that they typically keep hidden. Ai has an interesting take on love and what it means. This is a different take on a core theme of Love is War. Oshi no Ko is also very subversive. The main point of subversion is that the main character, Goro Amamiya, who is Ai's doctor that was supposed to deliver Ai's children, actually dies and is reincarnated as Ai's son, Aqua. Oshi no Ko is very dark, which plays into Akatsuka's strengths. Not only is there a lot of death, but there are also themes of assault, abuse, neglect, and incest, which a small part of the community seems to be very keen on. I think Akatsuka handles these themes very well, and it can help to elevate the series past other seinen manga. There was an instance where a cast member was attacked by a fan. They are okay, and they shook the attack off well, but once Akatsuka got to know this person, he found out how emotionally affected they were. Akatsuka took this anecdote and made it the backbone of the story of Oshi no Ko. You can tell that a lot of Oshi no Ko is inspired by Akatsuka's own experiences too. There is the part about a manga getting a live-action adaptation, the part about a mangaka upset about the adaptation of their work, and in the same breath, looking at how overworked mangakas can be. These are first-hand accounts at how the manga industry in Japan works, and it helps bring the value of Oshi no Ko's story up. With the stellar characters and a story based on real life, you can tell why Oshi no Ko is a hit not just in Japan, but here in the West as well. But they can't all be bangers, because Akatsuka's newest creation has a lot to be desired. Renai Daiko was written by, you guessed it, Aka Akasaka, and drawn by Nishizawa 5mm. It was published in Young Jump from April 2023 to June 2024, and only ran for 39 chapters. Mari is a half Swedish, half Japanese student living in Japan with her mother. Mari is very pretty, so she is very popular at school. However, Mari is extremely terrified of boys. Despite this, Mari still wants to find love, and even has a crush on a boy in her grade known as Seki. Seki is a nerdy, introverted boy who is very shy and quiet. Mari is hopeless when it comes to talking to Seki, so she enlists the help of a love agent. Love agents in this world are consultants who help you flirt with whoever you are trying to go out with. Mari's agent is Kon, real name Kokon Aikawa. Kon's avatar is that of a fox puppet, and she helps Mari flirt with Seki. Everything goes great with their first encounter, but afterwards the audience finds out that Seki isn't the introvert of her dreams, but actually an extroverted bad boy type. The only reason why he started wearing the glasses was because his love agent, Pawn, real name Kengo Matsuda, told him to do that in order to get Mari to talk to him. Renai has a very interesting premise. It is flirting by proxy. On the surface, Mari and Seki appear to be the ones doing the flirting, but in actuality, they are just chess pieces being moved by pawn and pawn. Nothing else has done this before, so it's Akatsuka showing off more of his creativity, but this series didn't last very long, and there are a few things that I can attribute as to why. For starters, it feels a lot like Love is War in the beginning. It's another romance written by Akatsuka, and there is strategy involved in this one too. The fact that it isn't the characters themselves flirting is the thing that sets it apart, but at the end of the day, it is still a manga about strategically flirting, which is what Kaguya-sama boils down to. And I know that whoever was editing Akatsuka could see that this was the case, because just after 9 chapters, the series moved away from this premise. In Chapter 9, Mari is kidnapped by the YouTube Club, who are introduced specifically for this chapter. The YouTube Club starts asking Mari questions on a live stream, and once they start asking super personal questions, Seki steps in and kicks the crap out of them. After seeing this, Mari gets scared and stops pursuing Seki romantically. I have read a fair amount of cancelled manga before, and they all have a few things that they share in common. Most notably, there is a shift that comes out of nowhere that always expedites the series. Introducing a bunch of characters that we never see again, that definitely counts. Now, I know that this was the direction that Akatsuka was trying to take the series, but I don't think that this was the way that he wanted to go about it. After this chapter, the status quo changes drastically. There are a ton of new characters introduced. The story focuses more on Pawn and Con, which, again, was most likely the intention from the start. And we even get a meta look at the manga industry again when Seki joins the second manga club. The bulk of the story isn't bad, but you can definitely tell that the series was struggling to find its footing after Chapter 9. You can tell that Akatsuka was being rushed to finish this one, which was a shame because he definitely wanted this one to outlast Oshi no Ko, but it didn't. If you're a big fan of Aka Akasaka like I am, you should check this series out. You might get something from it. But if you're not a big fan like I am, probably don't look at Renai Daiko. Aka Akasaka is a phenomenal mangaka. He has left his mark on the world with Love is War and Oshi no Ko. But his spark might be running out when you look at Renai Daiko. But who knows? Maybe he'll come up with something after Oshi no Ko ends. Only time will tell. And until then, make sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and with that, sayonara.